Hello, and welcome to Meet Your Next Best Hire, a podcast featuring and highlighting top industry real estate leaders looking to land their next venture in the job marketplace. I'm Kelsey Corey, your host. With over a decade of real estate executive search and recruiting experience, and the founder of Corey Executive Recruiting and Leaders on Deck, I've had the unique privilege of partnering with top real estate firms to recruit and place high-level leaders across the country. In this podcast, we will have the amazing opportunity to hear top real estate industry leaders sharing their career stories, leadership and management style, and ultimately what they're known for in their craft. I can't wait to dive in and connect you with the best talent in the marketplace. Let's dive in together.
Hey everyone, I am so excited today to share somebody that Corey at our team has had the privilege of getting to know and build a strategic relationship with. He actually is a global executive leader inside the space, and he's going to bring his story to us and essentially what all employers want to know on the other side of the table. He's looking for his next venture, and I just can't wait to dive in because he also has a heavy background, not just in the United States portfolio, but also in the Middle East. So he brings a very unique perspective in different types of verticals in real estate. We have Stuart Kirkham with us, and he is a global vice president of real estate focused in mixed use and development. So Stuart, thank you so much for joining us today. We are so glad to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. I'm really looking forward to telling you a little bit about my story. And hello from Dubai. You're getting me live from the Middle East at this moment.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's just dive right in and share your story. So can you share with us, how did you get into real estate and what ultimately made you decide this is the career I want to continue this path?
I really love that question, Kelsey. That's outstanding. I like building things, and I like building things that people get a chance to enjoy and admire and use. And ever since I was a little kid, I was constantly building things with Legos or where can my imagination take me here? And I was really lucky when I was in my undergraduate stage at the University of Wisconsin to have a number of different internships that were with different kinds of companies. And the one where I just made an instant connection with was in real estate. And that's really kind of strange because I wasn't an undergraduate real estate major. I ended up getting my MBA in real estate, but I was getting a lot of this practical experience through these internships. And it became kind of a little bit of a game where I was always joking with the ones who were in the business school. I was like, I can probably get a job before you can. And sure enough, I was building a portfolio of different analytical works or market research or, even providing inputs on strategies at the time. And so it was the first kind of career choice that I ever really gravitated towards. And I was really lucky to get some amazing training, both in a startup capacity and then in a little bit more corporate capacity before I finally went on and formalized it with an MBA in real estate from the University of Wisconsin. So it's been a pretty interesting journey. I've been active in this space for nearly 26 years now, and it still is full of a lot of surprises. And I really can't think of another sort of industry that I'd rather be working with.
Oh, I honestly believe the real estate industry is so special. I mean, there's a lot of different verticals and great industries out there, but there's nothing really like real estate. I love how complex and diverse it is. When I first got into this space, I thought it was just buying and selling houses, but there's so much more that it has to offer. And of course, your perspective, just throughout 26 years being in the industry, you've probably witnessed quite a bit of change and innovation throughout that time, and you've contributed a lot into that piece.
I have. But at the end of the day, you're still doing things for people. And that's the thing that is the remarkable kind of connecting link. And it doesn't matter if you're doing things over here in the Middle East or if you're doing things in the US or you're doing things in Asia, regardless, real estate will always be that product that has this very tangible quality. And yes, okay, you can argue that you can build islands or you can do certain things here, but pretty much that's, a very small percentage of what you would classify as real estate. One of the people that I admire most is a professor from Wisconsin who was the first one that really advocated real estate as a true academic endeavor. And his name was Graskamp. And he basically said, you kind of have to master so many different things because the touch points are so broad spectrum. Yeah. It's not just buying and selling. It's risk management. It's development. It's construction. It's marketing. It's like all these different things. And there really aren't as many kind of industries or segments or, positions that you can think of that need to require all that kind of activity in order for it to be successful.
Yes. And I think that kind of leads naturally into our next question is, how would you share with us, what are you known for in your craft? Can you share with us, what is your expertise? What's your stamp, Stuart?
That's a great question. I'm known for being able to solve problems in a way that others might not necessarily take the most formulaic approach, whether that is the way that I'm working with my teams in saying, look, we have a problem that we need to solve. What do you think we could do to overcome this? Or advocating and encouraging them to come up with something that might be thinking outside of the box. But beyond that, I've been known for being able to make some pretty high, intense stakes presentations to some rather remarkable people around the world, whether these were the titans of industries or various members of royalty over here in the Middle East. And, I think I've shared the story with you before. It doesn't matter whether it's a zoning board or a city council or,
sure,
a sheikh's palace, which we happen to have over in the Middle East. They're kind of asking the same thing. And that unifying thread is, what will this do for me and what will it do for the people that I'm trying to serve? They're not saying, how much money am I going to make out of it? But it's more like, will people be happy? Will they go there? Will they shop? Will they live? Will it improve the quality of life? And I think that that's sort of been a driving force, is that I'm trying to constantly ensure that we are grounding these topics of discussion, regardless of the venue. Is this something that people want? Is it something that people need? And what will it take to get there? And then I can take and lean on my experience to try to solve the obstacles that might be getting in our way for us to ultimately develop that thing.
Yes. I couldn't have said it any better. And I think that naturally goes into, what are maybe one or two strengths that you would say that you bring to the table?
So, I like to basically, I have a little bit of an answer to that, which is one that I've practiced and refined. I like to say that I have strategic purpose with empathy. And I realize that's covering a number of different concepts, but the reality of it is oftentimes, in particular with teams, you lose a sense of what is the vision? Why am I here? What do I want to be when I grow up? What is this for? What is the purpose of this? And because there is there could be periods of highs and lows in real estate. It does have a certain amount of volatility. You want to make sure that you're able to continue to motivate people in the proper way, and you want to be able to have them engaged and have them be able to understand what is the particular end goal. And so, I've referred to myself before as a real estate Swiss Army knife. And I do that in a way because it's not that the Swiss Army knife is the tool that can solve everything. It's not necessarily the tool, but the thing is that we can look at the problem and say, we might need that tool to do this, or we might need that tool to do that. But in addition, I also want somebody on the team to raise their hand and say, maybe we actually should use that other tool that you have in the Swiss Army knife bag of tricks, whatever, and I want to be able to encourage people to question and find their own voice to be able to solve certain things, and especially with the way that things are moving in technology these days. People can become a lot more resourceful than they were in the past. It's not saying, please just go straight to AI and give me an answer. AI is not going to be able to develop real estate in the way that we know it, right? It still requires this human voice, this human touch. And it's important that we're capturing that and looking at how we can get the best out of our people. And that's why I say, strategic purpose with empathy. It's not just about the strategic vision that I'm creating for myself, but the strategic vision that I'm working with my team to develop and enhance.
I love it. And I like the fact that you talk about the human touch because honestly, AI is a huge topic all across the world. And I think it's really critical that we don't replace that with the human touch because ultimately it really should just cohesively build upon one another, not necessarily replace. And sometimes I think we can get overly excited and think this is going to be the newest, greatest thing. But people at the end of the day, especially in real estate, the tradition has carried on for so many years. And if you really look at every single facet that has happened, real estate's always going to be the asset, but it's really the people that are behind the scenes making it come alive. And I love the fact that you really highlighted that. And that naturally goes into our next question. And it's going to be, how would you describe your leadership management style and how has that impacted the bottom line?
I was really lucky early in my career to actually be a real estate teacher. So when I was in grad school and finishing my MBA at Wisconsin, I was a teaching assistant for 2 years. And I had more than 600 some odd students that were both graduate and undergraduate levels that I was teaching the concept called the real estate process. And the thing that is central to that is a lot of these human elements that you talk about, as well as the various touch points from where you need different specialists to come in to be able to ultimately finish what it is that you're looking to do. And because when you teach, you develop, again, a certain amount of empathy with your students. You need to put yourselves in their shoes. You need to be able to see, how am I connecting with them? Am I motivating them? Am I finding students that are tuning me out? Why are they tuning me out? You have to kind of look at yourself in a pretty comprehensive way and also be able to validate your effectiveness. Are they learning? And so I've taken a lot of those skills from teaching and applied that to the way that I like to lead my teams. And a lot of that was inspired by Jaromir Steiner, who is someone that I worked for between 2000 and 2008. And he has a company called Steiner and Associates out of Columbus, Ohio. And he's considered one of the pioneers of new town center development, but more importantly is mandate as a leader that he ingrained in us. His DNA was leading not just by example, but leading by participation of the organization. Yeah. So we would have these meetings and we would have these things, and he would really go out of his way to ensure that people had a voice. And what I saw with that is it created a certain cohesion of vision and purpose. And when you are coming into an organization, whether it's an existing organization, it's a new organization, where you've been there for a while, we kind of need those constant reminders. Why are we here? And why are we doing this? And so, one of the techniques I've done, and it's been rather effective, is starting every single meeting off with, what is the vision? Because it would actually make the meetings become more constructive, and we wouldn't go off on tangents, which is known to happen in meetings, of course. Yeah. But it's a reminder of, what are we trying to do? In Jaromir's case, we were trying to create social and civic hubs. Well, you can't think of a more profound or impactful kind of vision of, we're doing things for people. Okay. Yes, we want people to shop. Yes, we want to build something that's a great quality. Yes, we want to become a destination. Yes, we want to do all these things. But again, this human element, this human touch, this human accessibility. And if you don't do it right and you don't think about that, the market will tell you. They won't go there. They won't be interested in doing the thing that you have. So I try to use that as a blueprint and be very inclusive in communication and very inclusive in problem solving and very inclusive in the sense of reminding people, what is our purpose? What are we here for? Why are we doing this? And how can I help you? Where do you want to go with your career?
Yes. What I really liked and what my interpretation is I love the fact that you're talking about, it's almost like you're capturing everybody on the team and you're blending their voices to be heard, where it becomes one voice. but it didn't just literally become one leader. It was everybody that was involved, and you guys curated, and just the way that you're describing curate this type of vision, then where it's like everybody is like, wow, they were a part of that. And it wasn't they were just spectators on the side, that they were actually in the field with you and coming alongside you and saying, like, this is the vision, this is what we're going to do. And you played a huge part in this role.
I'll give you an example of where that happened. It's one of the most proud achievements I've ever had is during COVID. I was working in Jordan, and you couldn't think of a more challenging time due to either government restrictions or just general fear of travel. And I was opening a mixed use center that was also a tourist destination. And they had a series of starts and stops throughout the journey of developing this particular project. And we came together about maybe 8 weeks before the project opened, and we said, guys, we're going to go all in. So we moved everybody down to the location. We were working, 10, 12 hours a day, including on weekends, because you couldn't travel outside on weekends. They had restrictions on movement. And we did it. Everybody did it, from the most junior person who was a fresh graduate to myself, who was the one leading this particular charge. And it was one of those things that, because they had felt that it was going to be a very difficult thing to do, especially now, and that we were able to do it, and they could see how it was such an all hands on deck effort. And, it didn't matter what the title was. It didn't matter your age. It didn't matter your gender. It didn't matter anything. We had the common goal. We got unified behind it. We did what it took, and we were so incredibly proud of what we were able to accomplish. And that's important, because at the end of the day, I think that people want to feel included. They want to feel that they have a voice. Yeah. And it's very easy to just feel that you're there as like a number or not really a participant. It's just that I'm expecting you to do something that's just, but I don't really know what it's serving. And that's not quite right. And nobody can build any of these things. You can maybe you can build a log cabin by yourself, but even then you're probably going to need some help still, right? So these kinds of projects that we're talking about in the modern era require a lot of different people's viewpoints and professional assistance. And I think that's the key element to maintain our level of success.
Yes, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. And ultimately that leads to our last and final, because I know we could talk forever. I could talk to you forever. Ultimately, Stuart, what's the best way for people to connect with you, to become part of your network? Can you share that with us?
Absolutely. Look, I'm extremely happy to meet people on LinkedIn and expand my network. I love getting questions about what's it like living and working over in the Middle East? What's it like being in Dubai? Sure. I grew up in Texas, but I went to school in Wisconsin, so I have been able to cross boundaries in a very different way. But the easiest way is to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm very happy to share my network and my contacts with people. I think that part of the effort and the thing that you're doing, Kelsey, is encouraging these kinds of discussions and interactions with people is extremely positive, and I applaud you for that. And, I think that if that's one way that I can also give back to the way that I feel that you're giving to me, then I'm really excited about that. So LinkedIn is the best way, and I'm pretty easy to find.
Perfect. Yes, and we're going to have all of Stuart's contact information provided as well whenever we release this. But ultimately, we are so grateful that you shared your time with us today. It is such a privilege to be able to speak with not just any global leader, but somebody who's really making a difference and really puts people at the forefront of what you're doing and the initiatives that translate into the real estate industry. So if you don't know Stuart, you're going to want to get connected with him. He's just an incredible leader across the board. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. Really appreciate it. And I really enjoy working with you, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks again for listening and sharing your time with us on the show, Meet Your Next Best Hire. I hope you enjoyed listening to and learning from another incredible leader our industry is so fortunate to have in the real estate space. If you're a high-level leader within the diverse real estate industry and looking to land your next best venture and would love to share your story from your own voice and perspective, then be sure to check out our firm at Corey Executive Recruiting and Leaders on Deck via CoreyExecutive.com. Our mission is to continue to be trailblazers within the recruitment space and bring meaningful leaders to the forefront to drive growth and empower people. If you enjoyed this session, please like, comment, and subscribe to support us and our partners at Multifamily Media Network. Stay tuned and come join us on our journey.